How you doing, guys? This is Hybridsteel. Welcome to Hydroneer the Volcalidus, the DLC. And today we're going to be talking about the plots of land and basically which one might suit you more, which one you might sort of consider, and basically just go through the pros and cons of each one. And I know I did this video in the Bastion one, which is why I'm actually doing this one. There are certain plots of land to me that don't make much sense, but they might make sense to people with a lesser computer, you know, like someone who's not running the best of tech. And there's no offense against that at all. It's just there are sort of like certain plots of land that are more catered to a smaller build. Now, there are big builds and there are small builds, and some of it's a little bit strange when it comes down to like the base footprint of tier 3. So, without further ado, let's get into this one, shall we? Now, apart from, I got the axe out of the Shattered Breach, so that came out from, I can't even remember which floor it was. Basically, I'm not doing a relic video. I know Daz might do the video. If he does, I'll forward it onto the community and it's all good. But I'm basically just looking for it all for myself, and I'm going through each plot of land to see which one's the best. Number one, first off, the lava pool that you're going to be using for powering is pretty damn cool. It's right up here. It's got this pretty cool aesthetic and I like it, but it does come with two separate layers. Number one layer is this sort of like little bit on the side, so for anybody that's using like lava drills to start, really good place to actually be. But this isn't too deep considering it actually stops here. This is the bedrock. Now, as you can see, the footprint for the actual base of Shattered Breach isn't that big. I left my roller down here for like size example. You got to think that the heavy drill itself will be like sort of this sort of size, and you got to get a harvester down here. Your setup isn't going to be that good, so your setup isn't going to be that big in comparison to like other plots of land. So if you're running a slightly lesser computer, you know, what people could refer to as a potato PC, if you're running one of those or a laptop or something that hasn't got like a high-end spec limit, then this place is actually good for you because of the size of the plot. You're still going to get that good return at like tier 3 dirt, and you're going to have all these good things. The downside is you can't really build too big unless you start stacking on top, and even then the actual footprint for the actual level isn't that big, and that's where it sort of annoyed me a little bit. So for 5 grand investment wise, the land itself is okay. But for anybody who wants to go bigger, who wants to like bring in like 100 odd drills and stuff, you're not going to get them down there. If you're going to go heavies, you'll get them through lava. With a little bit of like messing around, you'll get everything down there, but it will be tight. And that's the problem. So I'm going to give this sort of like a 4 out of 10. The main reason for it is just because I don't think, apart from people who play on lesser computers, I don't see a lot of people using this one. Because they're going to get to the bottom and just go, oh, you got to be joking, and they're just going to go off and move to somewhere else. So, just my personal preference. And like I said, I got the axe out of there. I can't remember which tier it was. I can't remember anything, but that's where you get the axe from. Right, we're moving on to the next one now. So here we are at Cinder Footing. Now, I've cleared. This one had quite a large amount of snow on top. If I'm going to be honest, actually quite a lot of snow, and it took a little while to get through the top. I did that unfortunate mistake thing where I sort of like dug my way through 2 layers of snow with the roller and then spent about an entire tank's worth of fuel trying to get rid of it all, which sucked. But we are done, and top level, the actual area actually at the top actually looked all right. Now this reminds me of a little bit like South Hope before it got extended and deepened and so on and so forth. Like the actual sides you can actually run up, which is pretty handy, especially if you're like going up to your lava section, which is obviously here. And genuinely the footprint is a little bit bigger than the than Shattered, which is good. It basically means you can get a little bit more down here. Now, I will say one thing before like it comes up in question. I know other people are going to talk about it, and they go like, but what if you got like no snow at the bottom because you destroyed it all? Well, there is a way around this, and most people know about it, but you can sort of duplicate dirt. So let me just, I haven't got a spade. You need a spade, basically, and you should be able to like scoop snow and put it somewhere else. Worst comes to worst, make sure you don't delete a load of snow first, and then you can move snow around as you go. It's the same as dirt in the original version of the game, so you just have to put up with it. You know, there is that way, or you could just leave a bottom layer at the bottom, and then you can duplicate dirt from there. So you can make extra snow to like boost up your drills, and that's fine. So yeah, the footing down here is not too bad. I actually don't mind this one too much. It feels a bit more compact though. So I'm a bigger fan of like bigger, wider plots. Doesn't feel so claustrophobic and feels like you've got a bit more like freedom in your builds, which is sort of what I actually don't mind. So I prefer a bit more freedom. I prefer a bit more like space when it comes to like redoing a plot of land. But all in all, Cinderfoot is actually not too bad. It's in a good sort of location. You're still quite close to the Shattered Outpost, which has got your electrical stop, your conveyor shop, even the furniture shop if you want to go and build yourself a house. And the buff stone furnace is down there as well. And the path to Volcalidus isn't too far away from here, so it's not too bad. But when it comes down to your main shops, which are like Newglade, that's when it does get a little bit like it's a long drive to Tipperary sort of thing. So take that with everything you're gonna sort of like contemplate. Like I said, at the moment there is only like one bad one, and that's the Shattered Outpost, mainly because, well, I feel it's too small, can't be bothered with it, that sort of thing. Don't like it, don't care. But this one, not too bad. I mean, as I said, like the top footprint, actually pretty good. When you get down there, you can still get a fairly good setup down there, which is pretty handy. And then obviously put your sorting area somewhere else. So I now have a horn. Yay me. What I will do is at the end of this video, I'm actually going to be putting down all the artifacts onto the actual plinths. So if you want to find out which plot I feel is the best, wait till the end. And if you want to see the reward, it will be at the end of this video. So if you don't want to watch that, don't watch it, because it will spoil it for you. See you in a minute. How you doing, guys? This is Hybridsteel. Welcome to this video. Obviously, Dawn Rest isn't going to be the most like deepish mine, and the reason why is because it's the starter mine. So you're only going to get like 5 blocks of depth, pretty much like Ember Cradle. It's very small. It's very like, you know, it slopes down. It's not as split as the old one, but it just feels like a bigger footprint than the first line at Ember. But genuinely, this one's not too bad. But my warning to all the people out there who are going to be basically starting this game going, can't wait to get myself automated, get in there. Don't stay at Dawn Rest. As soon as you've got like 15 grand, move. And 15 grand actually isn't that hard to like get together. There is a video coming out if I haven't done it already. Basically, it's all about like how to start, but I'll be doing it a lot faster than I did in my previous guide. But you don't want to stay here too long. You want to move. You want to get off this land. You basically just want to go off and sort of like deal with the rest of the game. Because if you're here, you will only ever get like Cloutium, but that's only if you're 2 blocks down. If you want to do anything else like Corestone, you need to move plots. You need to get down to tier 2. If you only ever get down to tier 2 in your mining, at least you're getting some Corestone, but it'll be worth the mine. With this place, it is the starter plot. It's basically, this is how everything starts, this is how this happens, this is how this happens. Go off and make your own adventure, and that's basically it. So Dawn Rest, me personally, don't stay here. It's really not worth it. Get 15 grand together and disappear. Right, I've just dug out the bottom of Scooria, and I'm going to be honest, and I said this about the Aquifer. It wasn't my favourite plot of land. Genuinely, yes, okay, the cost of the Aquifer was really cheap, but the problem with this sort of setup is that if you get all the way down to tier 3, there's not really a lot of snow down here. It's just a lot of lava. And honestly, this sort of puts a bit of a damper on like why I don't come here anyway. Mainly the reason why I never come to like a level like this, and I know some people prefer it, so you got a little bit of a tier system and it's all good. My personal preference is that I need a place where I'm going to be digging quite a large space. Now, in order for you to get down to tier 3 and, you know, you get your bigger amount of dirt coming through your drills and so on and so forth, it's always best to have some land to actually do that on. And that is literally the footprint of tier 3 dirt. Now, what you can do is you can put on as much as you want onto that, and it works as a really small build. So my main concern is when you want to get down and dirty to the bottom of this level, there's not really a lot of playground space. You know, if you want to put out like a big build, or you want to put in a big sorting plant, this, that and the other, it sort of gets to a point where you're like, well, I can put one drill down and now my whole plot is filled up. That's what Scooria feels like to me. And in fairness, that's what the Aquifer, well, I believe the Aquifer was actually bigger than this, which I'm not sure why it was made smaller. But for the price you pay for this is 5 grand for this plot as well, like all the other like extra plots of land in this game. But I wouldn't come here just on the state that like there's not a lot really here, which this sucks. And the other reason why I wouldn't come here, the main reason why I came here was to get the artifact. The other reason why I wouldn't come here is just because how far away it is from pretty much everything else in the game. Now, the trip to the Burville is, you know, just over the river, and that's okay, you just use the bridge. Going to Newglade, not too bad. Going to the other side of the map so you can get yourself some buildables, man, that's a long drive. And me personally, I don't. No, I'm okay without it. So me, Scooria, I'm voting this like a 1 out of 10 for like as a plot, just because it's my preference. I know people don't really like, you know, you got your own preferences and your own ways you see things in life, and that's completely fine. But for me, I'm seeing this as like a logical point of view where I don't want to travel that far, I don't want to do anything else, and I'm more than happy just to build in a big space and be happy. So come here if you want, but it is up to you if you want to spend your time here. Another day, another dollar, and we've just finished Lumberton Bluff. And it's got a really nice view of the volcano, actually. I really like it over here. The only problem with Lumberton is that you're right next to the beginning harbour. There's not really a lot around you apart from the basic shop. You're a little bit closer to the old volcano, but, you know, shops and everything else, you're sort of in between both. So it's like, so the being miles away from certain shops might just work in your favour on this one. The reason why is just because how big the land actually is. That footprint is pretty damn good, and I really like the fact it has, you know, you've got the opportunity to have some fairly decent veins here as well, which is pretty cool. But at the same time, you can get quite a lot down there, like lots of drills. And this long section where my roller is, all the way to there, that's a really nice run that you can sort of just have like a really big section of like your drill section. Then where my roller is down here, you could have your sorting area, or if you do what I do, you bring your sorting area all the way to the top and you just fill up the whole bottom with like big drills. Now at the end of the day, would you come here? I'm going to be honest, if I wasn't so much like dedicated to Waterside, which is basically like my favourite plot of land, Lumberton Bluff does really give you that opportunity to expand out quite a lot. So this one I would say would be good for people who run computers fairly like myself. Anything with a 2060 Super and above, anything with like 32 gig of RAM and above. But you're looking for a machine that can basically haul ass. And if you're going to fill it up, you're going to need that extra power. I like this piece of land though. It is really good. And I suppose even if you're going for a small build, and you just want something just to fill up the bottom, and you just want like your workbench and you want your house and so on. So you can almost like Creatorville, so you just put a house in the middle and so on. At the end of the day, that's not a bad idea, and I actually don't mind this. I'm going to give this like a 7. I know, you know what? I'm going to give this an 8 to a 9 out of 10. 8.5 out of 10 because of just like size of footprint and like plot. The only downside is clearing out. This one takes a long time because of the size of the plot itself. It's fairly large. And it took a damn sight longer than some of the others I've done. So yeah, I would go here. It is a good plot of land, and yeah, you're right next to an ore miner. You're right next to, like, you've got Lumberton just over the crack. I mean, you could literally just jump off into Lumberton from here, which is pretty cool. But and again, at the same time, it's one of those places where you're in the middle of everything. So we are here. And all you got to do is come back up onto the main road. So you are in the middle of... Let me just get off somewhere, I'm not looking at lines. So you are in the middle of basically Newglade and the shops down at the Shattered Outpost as well. So that's pretty damn good actually, because that means it's not too far to travel to both places. And you've got the volcano basically on your doorstep. So Lumberton Bluff, very good plot of land. Very good. So... we've got to head off to Scooria and Waterside after this, so that'll be fun. And yeah, your reward for like clearing out down here, cheers, you get this as well. And here we are at Waterside, the final plot of land that basically, the reason why I left this one till the end is because I've been building here. This is my build from my live streams and everything else. But during the actual beta, when I was experimenting with the levels and stuff, Waterside became my home. And the reason why is because it was more sort of like South Hope. I really like South Hope when it comes down to the location of this place. It's pretty much near everything I need it to be, which is good. I mean, we are here, we're next to the village. It's okay, the shop that I need are on the other side of the road when it comes to like putting down flooring. But apart from that, I've got a conveyor shop in Burville, can pick up my pipes and bits and pieces. It's literally just that one long shot. Like I said, Lumberton does have like an actual advantage over Waterside, as in it's centralized to basically everything. But when you come down to the actual size of the plot and the footprint that you have in the middle, you have a lot of space down there to be able to build a big build. And this is something that I like doing. I enjoy looking into a bigger build, which is why I come to a bigger place like this. Also, the sort of plans in my head come down to like what I actually want to do with my mine and how it all's going to look. As you can see, it sort of looks like it's worming its way through part of the land, but that was because I put all that there before I cleared it. All in all, that's pretty much where I liked this plot of land. Now, for everybody, it's not going to be the same review. You're all going to be sitting there going, well, you know what, I'm not a big fan of Waterside. It's just too big for me. My computer won't be able to take it. And I get it. At the end of the day, it comes down to personal preference. So I'd put this up in the same sort of category as Lumberton Bluff. It's basically an 8 out of 10. It's got potential for big builds and for anybody else who wants to do a bit of exploring. Also, when it comes down to the artifact, it's literally right at the bottom. So get digging, and it's all good. And now, the last part of this video, if you don't want to see what you get from the museum, you can turn this off now. Because I'm going to the museum now, I'm going to hand in all these artifacts, and we're basically going to see our reward. So, thank you very much for coming by. This has been Hybridsteel. If you have enjoyed this, hit the like, subscribe, and notification button below for all other updates. And for all those people who aren't clicking off, this is what's going to happen when you get all the artifacts. So, we're going to come into here. Going to back up. It's all good. I'm in! Oh, yes. Alright, cool. So, I'm going to take out my book. Gonna stick it on this plinth. Gonna take the cup. So we're gonna do a bit of like heavy reading. Gonna get my drinky out of my horn, or the Horn of Gondor. And then we've got the axe of Gimli. Gonna put that one right up this end. And then we're going to take the bottle because we still need another drink after drinking ourselves with the cup. And now the last artifact, the compass, which in fairness, the compass is pretty cool. So if you didn't ever want to give this away, if you look around everywhere, the compass actually points north. I thought that was a pretty cool touch. And there we go. We have a scepter. Now what we'll do is we'll pop back to my land. And you can see what it does. I do need to build a car park. Right, here's my scepter. So, in fairness, in the base game, I said it was pretty useless, and that was because I didn't really need it. But for all those people who put dirt under their drills, it does the same thing. So if you're putting drills all across the bottoms and you need a bit of snow on the bottom, use the scepter. It's, you know, it is ideal. It does have that extra thing that when you sit there and just go, well, it's sort of fairly useless, and then after a while you start to sit there and just go, actually, it's not useless, it does have a reason. So yeah, that's it. There you go, there's the scepter done. And that was my review of every single plot in the game. And if you have watched this far, thank you very much for coming by, it means a lot. And thank you very much for all the support that you've showed whilst I've been playing this game. Until my next video, live stream, or whatever else to do on this channel, I've been Hybridsteel, and I'll see you all later. So peace out, have fun, enjoy everything you guys do. Boom. Fist bump to you.